Hi folks. So, okay. From the last video, yes. The reality is, God didn't put these people in the church. These people that are deluded. These people that see a useless, worthless church. Yeah, that doesn't pray for people. A Pentecostal church that doesn't pray for people. Where the worship is led by the pastor, who makes it about him, which Manuel, the person who was the pastor then, the Spanish pastor, he made it all about him. Okay. Because I was there after, a few years later, and yeah, oh my God. They have music in the background, right? The music in the background for the songs, and he was on a silly little organ, right? And he couldn't even play it. He couldn't even play the blinking thing, but he had to do it because he's the pastor, the teacher, and the leader of worship, right? So therefore, when the woman said the worship was amazing, no, it blinking well wasn't. It was him doing it. And that worship was, oh my God, it was so bad, so bad. Because as I said, he made it about him. It was his church. Completely his. Now, come on. We've all been in churches where the pastor, teacher, worship leader, whatever, made it all about them. God, there's so many churches where that is the case. Where the church belongs to that one person. And everything is directed to that one person. Manuel was one of those. And everything was about him. Therefore, it was impossible. Because Manuel was never. He was not in any way, shape or form a teacher. He was not in any way, shape or form a pastor. He was not in any way, shape or form a worship leader. So there's no way, shape or form the teaching or the worship or anything else in that church was wonderful. The reason why they want deluded members is because people like Manuel, they tell other people in church, you cannot speak about churches. You cannot speak negatively about your own church or any other church. Because that's against God. Well, excuse me. Read the word of God. Go and look at the word of Yeshua. The way that he speaks about the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He's speaking about the Jewish people who are God's people. Right? He's speaking truth. But for goodness sake, if you said that sort of thing about the church now, you get banned from the church. Right? Come on. It's not God who put them in there. You know that. And that's the leaders as well as the blinking members. God didn't put them in there. The devil did. Well, as I said, all you have to do is go and look at the words of Yeshua. So I say the most important words in the Bible are the words of Yeshua. He is the Son of God, and when he spoke, those are the most important words in the whole thing. The most important by a mile. Look at his words. So when he talks about the seed falling upon different types of ground, only on 1 out of 4 does it bear fruit. Well, okay. What if the pastors, the teachers, what if most of the members in church are made up of the 75% that bared no fruit? Then he says, on top of that, where there is wheat, the devil sows in tares. Right? So you've got that added to the problem with church, or people that haven't come from God. So, yeah, as I say, yeah, there would be a sticker on the car basically saying, yeah, You have to go through Christ. Yeah. It's already on the car, actually, that sticker. Saying about what, Matthew 6. No, not Matthew 6. It would be John, wouldn't it? John talking about I'm the way, the truth, and the life. That one. It says about that, and it says basically, you can't go through Yeshua until you're in him. So you have to be in him first. But the problem is, that means I have to say to people, you need to go to a church. I mean, for goodness sake. I know what the church is made of, and I've got to say to people, you've got to go to church. Yeah. That's why, yeah. When I've said I'm not a pastor, that's why I've said, well, hold it. Yeah. Because the problem is, if God says to me, you've got to set up a church. A church for people who are babies to come in to Christ, and before they're ready to go through, you've got to set up that, because you can't send them to these places you know aren't going to lead them through. You can't send them there. Okay. Okay. That was not something I thought I'd have to do, but you never know. You never do know. That's the point. You never do know. And so, yeah. But as I said, what I said in the last one, it is true. It is true. Verse 10 of Matthew 6 has been available for over 2,000 years. Yeah. But if you understand church, you understand that for most of that time, the church has been the church that killed off the early church. So the church created by the devil to kill off the early church has been the church. And when it wasn't that church, it was a church that came from that church, so that the King of England, Henry VIII, could divorce his wives and cut off their heads because they didn't produce him a son. Okay. So these are the foundations, and this is what the churches were at that time. So no surprise, really, that during those times there wasn't anyone with understanding that your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Right? Obviously. Yeah. As I say, it's what it is. I still look at the situation and say, Father, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That, yeah. That you were looking down and you had to wait for that time before sending your son. All these other things had to be done first. And then you could send your son down to deal with sin. And then you had to wait another 2,000 years. Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It really is terrible. It is absolutely awful. Yeah. Oh. We have to be thankful, so thankful that God is God and was never human. In a sense, okay, Yeshua was human, but he was God first, human, then God again. So therefore, really God, never really human, but human for a tiny bit of time, 33 years, so not a lot really. So being human didn't really impact him as God. Because if it did, yeah, he would have wiped us all out. Yeah. Yeah. he would have wiped us all out and said, let's start again. These people aren't worth it. As I say, we couldn't blame him for that. That would have been something which would have been a perfectly reasonable thing to believe and accept. So yeah, it is very, very much what it is. We are very much where we are. Yeah. Yeah. But as I say, places like churches, yeah, they are where they are right now. It doesn't mean they have to finish there. You know, just because they're pretty useless and worthless right now, it doesn't mean they have to finish in that state. But it is up to them to do something about it. Not that it's up to them to do everything to fix it. It's up to them to make that decision and to say enough is enough. And to be willing to give it all up to God. Because churches are the same as people. If you want God, you have to give it all up to God. It will not work if you don't. There's me kicking snow into Chewy because it was the game we played when it was snowy. I covered his face with snow. That was Chewy. What a wonderful boy he was. Fantastic. He was a good boy. He really was. And again, I called him Chewy because when I picked him up as a puppy, he started chewing my finger. And the place that I got him, the farmer said, oh no, you can't call him Chewy. You've got to call him Spot or, whatever. A typical working collie's name. I said, no. I said, he won't be a working dog. He'll be part of the family. And that's the point. They were my family. So when God wanted them taken away, that was to break me. And so, yeah. And that's why I say I do wish that more people would be broken. Again, it's not because I want people to go through the hurt and pain. It's because I know what the end result is. There is a purpose to it. And the purpose is to be seriously blessed at the end. So, there you go. Alright, so you take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Be a blessing, be blessed, and have a fantastic week ahead. Bye.